Hi, welcome back to the Study Skills blog with me, Lauren, the Study Skills advisor here at Youngerendi, and today we are on part 2 of my time management blog series, Procrastination. Procrastination is honestly quite a huge topic, and I can't cover everything in this short video, so I very highly recommend that you check out Garth Ferber's Health and Wellbeing blog. He has an entire series of procrastination that I've linked. I also really like this blog post, Why Procrastinators Procrastinate, from Wait But Why. But today I'm just going to give you a rundown of some of the most essential elements of what procrastination is, why we do it, and how to avoid it. Procrastination is basically, as I'm sure you know, putting off something that needs to be done. It kind of works on the basis of instant gratification, right? So we like to feel pleasure for doing something now, and we also like to put off doing things that we don't feel like doing, we don't want to do, or we know that we can do later. In a study environment, this is typically putting off an assignment. So you're not going to get started on it. You're not going to start that reading. You're going to let Netflix autoplay to the next episode instead of getting up and doing that study session you said you would do, or finding yourself on Instagram when you're supposed to be finding an article. It happens to the best of us. I am guilty of it. Your lecturers are guilty of it. Your peers are guilty of it. In fact, according to this one study, 95% of students reported some form of procrastination, and 50% of them, 50% said it was at problem levels. And it's all very well and good for me or a bunch of online guides about effective time management to tell you that effective time management means avoiding procrastination. But you know what? It's just not that easy. There are some strategies that you can put into place though, but please remember that battling procrastination is, well, it is a battle, okay? And sometimes you'll win the battle, sometimes you won't win the battle, but it is a war that we are at with procrastination, and all we need to do is keep trying. During my PhD, I became really good at what I ended up calling proactive procrastination, which is when I would do tasks that were related to my PhD, like admin, replying to emails or tidying up my reference list or doing another proofread, but weren't actually the work that I needed to be doing, which was primarily writing. Now, it was really easy for me to allay that guilt of needing to work by doing these tasks. The problem was that I wasn't doing the work that I needed to be doing, and so I was still procrastinating. And this is part of why procrastination is such a difficult problem, because not all of it is as simple as spending too much time on social media or watching too much television. A lot of procrastination is about doing tasks in the wrong order, prioritizing the wrong things, or doing something that we think makes us feel better because we think we're working, but is still not really contributing to the overall work that we need to be doing. So, how do we avoid procrastination? The first way is to plan effectively. Now, planning is twofold. On the one hand, it can be a great way of dealing with procrastination. If we have a plan, we know what we need to do, and then we can get started and do it. On the other hand, planning can also feed the procrastination monster. Remember that proactive procrastination that I was talking about? Over-planning can be the proactive procrastinator's dream form of procrastination. And this is because planning involves doing things in the future and not doing things now, and procrastinators really love avoiding doing things now. So this means that when we plan, we have to plan effectively. So what does effective planning actually mean? Effective planning means not just figuring out what you need to do, but prioritizing each item on that list and setting out the details. So say you have an essay that's due on Friday and you have a reflection that's due the following Wednesday. But you really don't like your essay topic, you don't feel confident about it, you know that there's a lot of research that needs to be done. Meanwhile, this reflection, you're like, yeah, I know what I need to do, I feel confident, I've got all my materials, I'm ready to get started. Unfortunately, in terms of priorities, that essay has to come first. So even though you could do some proactive procrastinating by getting started on that reflection, what you really should be doing is prioritizing your essay. And also remember that if you get the hard stuff done early, you can relax and enjoy the easier stuff later. I know it's easy for me to say that. From here, you need to break it down into the details. So, for example, to write an essay, you need to research, you need to write a plan, you need to write a draft, you might need to revise that draft and do some editing, you need to do your referencing, and then you need to submit. Be specific. The more you can break each task down into exactly what you need to do, the more clarity you have. The more clarity you have, the more direction you will have, the less overwhelmed you'll feel, and the more likely you'll be to actually complete it. My PhD supervisor once told me that you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's true. A PhD is this enormous, enormous task, right? You can't possibly ever sit down and do it in a day or a week or a month or a year. But what you can do is you can eat at it in chunks. The smaller the chunks are, the more manageable they seem, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole elephant. Not that I advocate eating elephants. Avoiding distraction is another one of those things that people tell you to do, but in reality, it's hard. We are constantly connected to the world all the time. We are online all the time, and it's simply not that easy to switch off. What you can do though is try to take as much control over your environment as possible. Find a place to study that is quiet and free from things that might distract you. This means maybe you'll come into Flinders and study here in Yungarendi or in the library. Or if you know that you're likely to run into your friends here, that they're going to distract you, it might mean that the better environment for you to study in is at home, in your bedroom. The important thing is to find out what works for you and don't lie to yourself about it. Really be honest with yourself. Is this a space that works? Once you're in that space, try to make it as conducive to study as possible. So get rid of anything on your desk that might distract you, anything that's not relevant to your study at the time. Turn off any televisions that might be on. Close browsers on your computer that are not relevant to your study. If it's possible, you can even try disconnecting from the internet. I know it's very generally not possible in this day and age, but certainly close your social media accounts, turn your phone upside down, and try to create as clear a good study environment as possible. You can also try a method like the Pomodoro method. Now, this is a really effective technique for overcoming procrastination and distraction because it breaks up time into 25-minute chunks with 5-minute breaks. It's a bit like doing interval training at the gym. You go really hard for short bursts, then you get a break, feel a little bit better, and then you get stuck back into it again. What I really like about this method is that 25 minutes is not an overwhelming amount of time to commit to. It's super easy to tell your brain, all right, brain, we're going to concentrate for 25 minutes. That is literally just one episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then you can check all your notifications. You can go on Facebook. You can go on Snapchat. You can read your emails. But for that 25 minutes, you are concentrating. It does mean that during these 25 minutes, you put away all distractions. So you close your phone, you close those browsers, and you are focusing. A lot of the time when we're studying, we have that little niggly part of our brain that kind of jumps up. For me, as soon as my mind is empty for like 2 seconds, I find myself kind of navigating towards some kind of social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And then I find myself there and I'm like, wait, how did I get here? So with this method, as soon as you feel that little niggle in your brain telling you to go online and do something else, you tell it, in 25 minutes I will. Or in 15 minutes I will if you're 10 minutes into your Pomodoro session, or in 5 minutes I will if you're 20 minutes into it. It's just not that long for your brain to wait. So you get that instant gratification still. You can allay that part of your brain that is terrible for procrastination, which is the instant gratification monkey, as it's called on the blog that I linked you to. But you can maintain that focus then throughout. The feeling of knowing that you can check this stuff can do wonders for your focus because you're not forbidding yourself from these things. You're not restricting them. You're simply putting them in a particular basket of time. Then when your 20 minutes are up, you can get out your phone, check those messages, reply to things, go on Facebook, go for a walk, go to the fridge, go to the toilet, do whatever you need to do. And then you're refreshed and ready for your next 25-minute chunk. And research shows that these short bursts of study time maximize our clarity, maximize our attention, our mental activity, because they engage our consciousness, concentration, and clear-minded thinking. So obviously I haven't been able to cover everything about time management and procrastination in these short video series. So as I said, if you want more details, check out Garth's Health and Wellbeing blog. He has some great information about procrastinating. And in the meantime, remember that this is a work in progress. If you fall behind, if you get off your schedule, if you find yourself procrastinating, it's okay. All right? Start again. Write a new list, put a new date in your diary, start that Pomodoro timer again, and get back on it. That's it for this week. I will see you next time.